Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today's video, I'm continuing my series on ranking my 100 favorite movies of the 1980s. And we're now in the top 30 movies of that decade. So I'm doing 30 through 21. So obviously, I mean, these are all great movies, but definitely getting some of these are definitely my personal favorites. They're not necessarily the movies that everybody thinks are the best movies of the 80s. These are just more of my personal picks of movies I grew up watching probably, or I've seen many times, and maybe have some nostalgia for, whatever it is. These are movies I absolutely love and want to recommend to anybody who hasn't seen them. Definitely watch these movies on this list. So let's get to the top 30 here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well here on a Saturday evening. I wanted to get a video out today. And yeah, I want to definitely finish this series that I started. And we're getting to getting close to the end here with 30 more movies to talk about. And so let's get to number 30. Number 30 is The Little Mermaid. This came out in the late 80s, but this was such a groundbreaking film for Disney. Disney was going through a dark ages in the 80s, especially with The Black Cauldron. Did really bad, kind of bombed big time. And they were starting to wonder, what are we going to do with the studio? Do we need to do animation? Animation doesn't seem to make money, even though animation is what Disney built the company upon. So it's like, how can you get rid of what made your company, basically? And they came up with a really brilliant idea. They brought in what I would call the animated musical, and Little Mermaid is basically the start of what we call the Renaissance period, which is the most kind of prolific period, or the most financially profitable period for Disney, I think. And it's the best period in my opinion. Like, my favorite Disney movies come out of this time period from late 80s into the late 90s, basically that whole 10-year period, making just one banger after the other. And every movie was basically a musical. It had tons of musical moments, a lot of Oscar-winning songs, and also the musical scores were doing really well. And it really starts with this, though, The Little Mermaid. And they brought in, I think his name, Howard Asher, and Alan Menken. Alan Menken would go on to make more, because Asher would die soon in the early 90s, so he wasn't able to. But those two really were what was vital for this period, where they came in and kind of redefined the Disney animation by making this musical, because they both worked on musicals on Broadway. So they brought in these two guys who knew how to write musicals, and I think it really made a difference here. And it's a classic. I mean, come on, it's one of the big classics. That's why I had it up here this high on my list. I remember seeing this first time as a kid, absolutely loving it. It was really huge movie for the moment. Like I said, I mean, Under the Sea and Ariel, the mermaids, wants to go on land because she falls in love with Prince Eric, I think it is. It's a real fun story. Great villain. I mean, Ursula, what a great villain. Kind of creepy, kind of octopus, kind of creepy lady, witch lady. And it was definitely, the music was so good. I mean, had a lot of classics here. Like I already said, Under the Sea, huge classic. Kiss the Girl is my favorite song, actually. I love Kiss the Girl. It's a short song, though, but man, it's super catchy. I like Sebastian singing it. The whole moment, I think it's kind of romantic and all that. Of course, Part of Your World, another absolutely fantastic song, really sung well by Jodie Benson, who played Ariel, or did the singing, I know, of Ariel in the movie. Also, it had a pretty good amount of laughs in it. Sebastian, I love Sebastian. He's my favorite character in the movie. Provided a lot of laughs in it. And then just overall good story. I think there's some nice heroic moments. Eric, what he does at the end, kind of defeating Ursula, saving Ariel, I thought was great. Unlike the last Little Mermaid, the live action movie, where Ariel saves Eric. Of course, they had to redo that whole part. I think it's a lot better when Eric saves Ariel. It's a little more romantic, a little more heroic, all that. Anyway, so And again, just a great climatic sequence at the end. But yeah, Little Mermaid, one of the great Disney movies for a reason. So it's here at number 30 on my list. Number 29, we're going in a complete opposite direction. I'm going with a movie called Mississippi Burning. And this is probably one of the most underrated movies of the 80s, I think. I doubt many people know much about this movie. I might be wrong, but you don't hear a lot of people talk about Mississippi Burning. If you don't know this movie, stars Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe. And Gene Hackman, by this point, of course, was already an Oscar-winning actor and really well known. Willem Dafoe, probably well known, but I feel like he's still kind of young in his career. I might be wrong about that, but they play two FBI agents who go down south because a car with I think there's, I don't know, a couple of black people and there's one white guy who was like, during racism, it was like the South is super racist. So it's, I forget the time period, but maybe it might have been like the 50s or something like that, where, you know, if you're a black person hanging out with white people, you know, you might get murdered by, you know, the Ku Klux Klan or whatever. So it's definitely like, yeah, I dealt with that. And I don't know if it was on the true story, but these car people, they get murdered by basically the Ku Klux Klan at the beginning of the movie. And so these FBI agents come down to investigate what happened. Anyways, and while they're there, of course, the white people, or the white racist people, are against them and give them a hard time. And we see a lots of violence towards black people by white racists, the Ku Klux Klan type people, white nationalists, whatever. Anyway, so it's definitely disturbing. I don't like those moments. Those are always terrible. But they get their comeuppance. You know, the FBI does take them down, which I really enjoy. And the whole process when they take them down is very enjoyable to get justice for those people. And yeah, so they go down, and Gene Hackman is kind of the old veteran FBI agent who's a little rough. He sometimes doesn't do things by the books. He is a tough guy. He'll use violence to get information out of people, which shouldn't be legal, whatever. But he does what he can to, you know, get justice. While Willem Dafoe is more of the kind of nerdy by the book FBI agent that's like, we have to do everything by the rules and there's protocols, but it doesn't exactly get the job done. And there's a question of, you know, do we go off the book so we can, you know, help these people and get rid of these really terrible human beings? And so, you know, it's always that thing. It's like, you're not supposed to, but yet you kind of like that they do, because they at least, you know, get after this Ku Klux Klan group in the South and get rid of them anyways. And yeah, so it's very powerful in that way, I think. Like I said, and I just love that they really get them at the end and arrest them or whatever and get rid of them. Is such great. Gene Hackman is so good in this role. This is a great, again, very underrated, underappreciated role for Gene Hackman. He is so good. Like when he walks in, there's one scene where he walks into like this bar, he knows they're all like Ku Klux Klan members, and he basically like dares any of them to, like, you know, take a punch. And Michael Rooker, if you know him from like Guardians of the Galaxy and lots of other movies, he plays one of the like tough, he's young too. It's kind of cool seeing a young Michael Rooker here. He's like one of the big toughies of the Ku Klux Klan, and Gene Hackman takes him out. And like, you try, you know, and he doesn't back down. He loved about the guy. He just doesn't back down from these really horrible, racist human beings. And he's not perfect himself either. So it's a very interesting character overall. And even him and Willem Dafoe don't get along during the movie, which is very interesting. And you got some other, Frances McDormand. You got young Frances McDormand here. She's the wife of this cop who's racist, played by Brad Dourif. If you know Brad Dourif, he's from Lord of the Rings and a lot of other stuff. He plays the voice of Chucky in the Chucky movies. What a great actor. And it's so cool seeing him kind of here as this kind of deputy sheriff, whatever. And lots of other great performances. Arlie Ermy is in here. Stephen Tobolowsky. Really a great cast. Like I said, Michael Rooker's here. But yeah, this is definitely a movie if you've never heard of and you haven't seen, definitely check it out. I think it's such an excellent movie. Very entertaining, very satisfying at the end. So yeah, that's Mississippi Burning here at number 29 on my list. Number 28, we got Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's definitely a movie that I loved since I was a kid. I remember this coming out, and it was such a cool idea for a movie, and really took that idea of combining live action actors with cartoons. Like we've seen that some in like Mary Poppins and Bedknobs and Broomsticks and some Disney movies, but I think they took this a whole new level, and it was interesting because he had Disney characters and he had Warner Brother characters with like the Bugs Bunny type characters. So it's interesting how they're combining those both worlds in this movie. This is directed by Rob Zemeckis, one of my favorite directors, and it's a real fun movie. Roger Rabbit's kind of cool cartoon character, who then, and there's this whole kind of murder plot mystery. Bob Hoskins is so good as the lead detective, and it's a really funny movie. And again, I love the way they you get to see the animated characters somehow coexist with live action. And it's like, I don't know how they did that. It's special effects wise, it's so incredible how they were able to make it look like these cartoon characters really lived in this world. So that was such a cool idea that worked. And I especially love Toontown, whatever, when he goes to Toontown and everybody's tunes and like reality doesn't exist, laws of gravity and physics don't exist. And that's all a really fun scene as well. But Bob Hoskins actually has some good dramatic moments in here as well, and that really work for that character because he has this kind of, sad background of his, brother dying, and he's a drunk now, and him doing this investigation, he finds out like who murdered his brother, he's been trying to look for his whole life. So there's some great satisfaction there. And then also he's just Roger Rabbit is all about doing comedy, while Bob Hoskins is a very serious person. So, and how that relationship kind of molds during the movie is kind of cool as well. And Christopher Lloyd was such a great villain. Dr. Doom, is Dr. Doom? Maybe not. It was something like that. It was a great villain, this character. He was actually very scary to me as a kid and all that. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely fantastic kind of comedy murder mystery movie. Very unique in its right. So that's what I got here. Who Framed Roger Rabbit at number 28. Number 27, I have The Naked Gun. This was the first movie of the Naked Gun series. They did 3 of them. We're gonna have a Naked Gun what does he call it? Remake, I guess, kind of reboot with Liam Neeson. But I've always been a big fan of the Naked Gun movies. The Airplane, Hot Shots. I love parody movies, and you got like all the Mel Brooks stuff with Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights. I love parody movies. They're always some of my favorite genres and comedies, and I laugh so much at these. And this is one of the best ones with Leslie Nielsen playing the lead here. He is absolutely hilarious. There's just one joke after another. You got O.J. Simpson, which is interesting now looking back. But yeah, the amount of jokes they hit you with is just absolutely incredible. And how, I've seen it so many times and I still laugh really hard at it. I love the silliness of it. To me, it's one of the best and one of the groundbreaking movies in the parody genre. So, not much more to say than that, except love this comedy. So, Naked Gun here, number 27. Number 26, I have The Untouchables. And this was a really cool crime drama, starring Kevin Costner, who was really like, he had this period where he was like one of the top actors in Hollywood. And this is a really cool movie, kind of based on a true story. He plays Elliot Ness, who's, again, I think he might be FBI or something like that. And he's tracking down a famous gangster played by Robert De Niro in that role, which I'm forgetting now the name of that gangster. But, famous, I think, Chicago gangster who, it's during Prohibition, so he's trying to catch this gangster, with alcohol and stuff like that. And of course, he murdered a bunch of people and all this. And so he's trying to take down this big gangster, basically. The whole movie is about. He basically, what's the word? Recruits a bunch of other people into the special group that's going after this gangster. That's where Sean Connery comes in. Great performance by him. He wins the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Really gives a great performance there. And he recruits Andy Garcia in here as well. It's kind of I think a younger cop, whatever, that he gets into his group. And there's a lot of people he can't trust, but he can trust those two. And it's kind of cool. Al Capone's the name of the gangster that he's going after. So he's going after Al Capone, and he has to catch him on like tax fraud or something like that. So the whole thing about getting his accountant and proving that he tax fraud, and there's kind of a trial at the end. But a lot of memorable scenes. One of the best scenes is this action sequence where they're trying to catch the accountant, and he has like a bunch of other gangsters around him, and they're like at a train station, I think, or a bus station, and they're going down these steps and they're shooting at each other. It is one of the best action sequences I've ever seen in a non-action movie. It seems like that whole scene is done so well. The slow motion. There's these babies and baby carriages that are going down the stairs, and so you're afraid of the babies and the baby. I mean, it is really wonderfully choreographed scene. But yeah, it is. Yeah, really great crime. If you want to watch a good crime drama, this is a great movie. So I have here number 26, The Untouchables. Number 25, I have Crocodile Dundee. And this is definitely another one of those I loved as a kid. So it's up here pretty high because for nostalgia reasons. Paul Hogan, I mean, he is Crocodile Dundee. And man, what a great performance by him. What a great character that he created here. You can only think of Paul Hogan as kind of Crocodile Dundee because he's such a great character. He's funny, he's tough, he's just so interesting. And I love the whole story of this female reporter go and do a story on him because he killed a crocodile and he takes her out in the jungle. And anyways, they kind of developed this romantic relationship kind of through all that. And again, just very interesting. That's all great. And then you get the second half of the movie where he comes to New York and it's this fish out of water, where he's from, I don't know if this is a great portrayal of Australians, but he definitely comes from like more primitive, like Australian area, the outback. And so coming to New York, it's like really fancy and like modern. He's not used to all the fancy stuff and technology and stuff like that. So he's trying to, and just I guess the culture itself, he's just not used to. And so it was really fun seeing him kind of adapt to the New York culture. And there's a good romantic relationship there between him and after I can't remember the name of the actress that plays kind of the female lead here. And he gets in all kinds of trouble as well here. Of course, the most famous scene, that's not a knife. This is a knife. And he pulls out this gigantic knife and they run. That's such a great scene. Iconic for good reason. And why he's such a great character. Also, I love the ending when she tracks him down at the subway as he's trying to leave, and he has to walk across the people, and how he has to shout to other people to get information. I don't know. It's all just a great ending and a great romantic relationship that ends in really, kind of great way. Anyways, it's just a fun movie, comedy, action, romance. Yeah, Crocodile Dundee, still one of my favorites here at number 25. At number 24, I've got Good Morning Vietnam. Yeah, this movie starring Robin Williams playing one of the best roles he's ever played, giving one of the best performances I think he's ever given here, and got nominated for Best Actor as well. I think got maybe a Best Picture nomination and all kinds of stuff. But kind of based slightly on a true character who was recruited during Vietnam to be like a kind of a DJ, a rock and roll DJ, and he played rock and roll music that the Vietnam troops can turn on the radio, and he became very, very popular. He was very funny, and this is, of course, Robin Williams is, takes the character to a new level because he's absolutely hilarious, and it's one of those roles where it's like nobody could do this role but Robin Williams. It's like he was so perfect for this role. It's so incredible when you watch it, and I just get goosebumps every time I feel like I watch it. And he first gets on there and goes, "Good morning, Vietnam," and he goes into just this. He's doing the news, but he's doing characters. He's doing voices. He's improvising, and it's like none of that's written. It's all Robin Williams just improvising because he's just the best improviser to ever live, and it's just magical every time I watch it. There's another scene later on where he's thinking about quitting because they're censoring him, and he sees a bunch of troops, and he goes on this whole improvise, which is like, it must be Robin Williams just doing his thing. He goes on this whole improvisational thing because he feels bad for these troops, of course. They're going through a bad situation in Vietnam. So he's entertaining them, and after he entertains them, man, that look on Robin Williams' face is so good when he's like, realizes what he's doing is important, entertaining the troops through what he does as a DJ. Such a heartwarming moment. And yeah, overall, there's some good dramatic moments here, but it's very funny. And really, it's just Robin Williams just gives one of the best performances here. So that's why it has to be this high on my list. I enjoy it so much. So here, number 24 is Good Morning Vietnam. Number 23, I'm going to another comedy classic that I loved as a kid, and that is National Lampoon's Vacation. Starring Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold, who wants to just take his family out to vacation. Not only that, but take him to Wally World, which is kind of like Disneyland, I guess, in this world. And so he drives them all the way across. I don't know. They're in Chicago and they have to go to LA. I don't know, something like that. I can't remember where exactly they're going, but they have to travel quite a ways driving. And as a kid, that's what we did. We drove. I never went to Disney World or anything like that, but we'd always get in the car during the summer, and my dad would take us, and we would drive to whatever and go on vacation. So I remember great memories as a kid. Nothing like this movie, nothing crazy like this movie ever happened. But you know, it can be frustrating. It can be stressful when you're traveling with your family, and especially when you have little kids or teenage kids or whatever. Hopefully, we weren't too bad for my parents, but you know, it's a lot of planning, a lot of money involved. As a kid, you're just on for the ride, just to enjoy it. But so I really relate to like this whole story of, you know, getting in the car and driving cross country and traveling and, you know, enjoying the time with your family. So I don't know, it just takes that simple premise and just everything goes wrong during the vacation. And they even get to Wally World and it's closed, which is just insane. That would really frustrate. He kind of goes unhinged and like breaks into it and kind of by gunpoint. Really funny scene. Chevy Chase, he's at his best in this movie. This is definitely my favorite Chevy Chase performance. And there's just so many hilarious moments. He definitely, you know, I love Clark because he's definitely a lot of flaws. He's kind of a bumbling idiot at times. And he's lusting after this other woman, even though he's married. And he can be a jerk at times and all that. But he ultimately just wants to give his family a good time. I think he does love his family, and he's trying to do the best for his family. So I know there's some goodness in him as well. But yeah, Chevy Chase is so good here. I also have to shout out Randy Quaid, and they're from Kansas. They're these really bad look at Kansans. We're not all like these, you know, redneck, you know, I don't know what you want to say, bumpkins, whatever, country bumpkins. Not all of us are like that, but some are. And I love when they go visit Cousin Eddie, and the whole sequence is hilarious as well. But yeah, it's a great comedy about going on vacation with your family and traveling. And yeah, love this movie, always have. So it's here at number 23, National Lampoon's Vacation. Number 22, I got Stir Crazy. One of my favorite Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor comedies. They were, in my opinion, the best comedy duo I think we've ever had. And they've only done like 3 really big movies together. This is my favorite of the that they did together. And they work so well off each other. If you don't know Stir Crazy, man, is it a funny movie. They get basically two robbers kind of frame them. They rob a place, a bank, and dressed like them, and so they get framed for murder, or not murder, framed for this bank robbery, and they get put in jail, even though they're innocent. And so they're just 2 regular guys. They're in jail, and they're trying to figure out how to get through jail without, you know, anything bad happening to them. And Gene Wilder's one of the funniest performances ever. But the scene where they go into the jail for the first time, and he's trying to act tough, and they're trying to do the walk, and it just looks goofy. And Gene Wilder even tries to do some karate to try to look intimidating. Doesn't look intimidating at all. Yeah, so they're in the prison and they're trying to figure out how to, basically they make some friends and they figure out how to escape from prison. That's like the whole movie. But so many funny sequences, and they're like, when they're trying to break Gene Wilder and they do different things to him, but he likes it. Like every time they try to torture him, he comes out going, I feel better, you know, and all this. Like they put him in a hot box for a couple of days, you know, where you're supposed to kind of go crazy. And when they open it up, he goes, can I be in here for a little bit longer? I'm just really starting to find myself. One of the funniest scenes ever anyways. But yeah, definitely if you want a good comedy, Stir Crazy. You gotta watch Stir Crazy. It's so funny. That's number 22. Number 21, the last movie I'll talk about on this list, It is one of the best Star Trek movies ever made. I would say my favorite of the 80s, and that is the second Star Trek movie, The Wrath of Khan. This is commonly considered one of the best for a good reason. I've seen a lot of people put this number one. I put this number three. It's my third favorite Star Trek film. So actually, there is one more. I lied. There's one more Star Trek movie that I like more than this one. So this is my second favorite of the 80s. I forgot there's one more Star Trek that I even like more than this. And I had like three Star Trek movies in this list. 80s was a pretty good time period for them, I think, where they kind of had a resurgence in the movies, the original cast, anyways. And this is such a cool story. This is way better than the first one. The first Star Trek movie was boring and terrible and just didn't fit at all. This is such a great reboot of the series. It feels like where they kind of got everything right. They got the characters right. They got the kind of stories you want right. And Kahn was such a great villain by Ricardo Montalban, I believe. Reprising a role that he did on the TV show. I thought that's such a cool idea. Taking a villainous character off the TV show and making him the main villain, and it works so well. And because he has this vendetta against Kirk, and Kirk is almost like, Moby Dick or something like that, and he's like, Captain Ahab, and he'll go through any ends to destroy Captain Kirk. He hates him so much and wants revenge that it becomes his downfall. So it's great. It's just a formidable foe. Some great space battles in there. Some great plot twists. And just some great moments where, like Khan gets the better of Kirk and Kirk, Khan, as he looks up. That's a great moment. And then the time when he gets Khan back and defeats him is so good. And it's one of those things where Khan could have just walked away and kind of had a victory, but he's like, no, I got to kill Kirk. Anyway, it's not spoiled too much, but he eats it in the end. It's great. It's again, if as far as Star Trek goes, this is one of the best Star Trek stories, and even to this day, yeah, it's one of the best Star Trek movies, and definitely one that if you want to get into Star Trek, this is a good one to start with, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, number 21 on my list, and those are 10 movies for today. I'll talk about, or we'll get into my top 20 later on. But feel free to comment. What do you think about these movies? Have you seen them? Which ones do you like the most? Love to see in your comments. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. And thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all and hope you have a good day.